I think we're ready. Rick is our host this morning. The so anyway, I want to welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee Sunday morning service. I'm Reverend Pam Brandman, the senior minister here at the center. We want to remind everyone that our center's purpose is love. Our vision is embracing all while awakening to the one. And whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We know that there are many paths to God, but they all end in oneness and in love. We're grateful that each of you is here with us this morning. We begin our service with a receptivity statement that you will see on the screen, and you can read it along with me. I am here by divine appointment. Something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. So our musician this morning is Emily Tessmer, and she is coming to us today from her new home in Pioneer, California, where she lives with her partner Joaquin Fiorisi and their son Shiloh. She's also getting excited about graduating from Sierra Nevada University by mid-December. Yeah. And the days of studying from dawn till dusk are about over. No. Oh, midnight, dawn till midnight. Oh, there you go. But the sky's the limit when she's done, and she's been talking to us about a movie project. Maybe she'll tell us about that in hospitality. But anyway, welcome, Emily.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. And am I up? Is it time to do a song for you guys? All right, cool. So, when the pandemic hit, we had a friend ask if we had the medicine chant, which is, if you want to repeat, I'm sure Colleen and Chris probably know this one like the back of their hands, but the words are Te Yata Om Bekanse, Maha Bekanse. So this is our version of the medicine Buddha chant. And actually Joaquin and I, was our first duet that we did together. So, and we're still working on it. As soon as school's over, we'll get back to it. But so I want to sing this for you guys, and feel free to, it's very repetitive. So feel free to sing along from the comfort of your own homes. And Rick, if you can just give me a heads up that you can give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay. Te ata om bekanze, bekanze, maha, bekanze. Teata umbekanze bekanze maha bekanze Raza samudgati Suha Raza samudgati Suha.
Thank you, Emily. That was lovely. Yeah. And so our practitioner today is Carol Dalbon. And it's going to be the last time that Carol is going to be serving as our practitioner of the day before she moves to Sacramento. She can still join us, but it's going to be from Sacramento. And her granddaughter is graduating from both college and from the Placer County Sheriff's Academy. So she's going to be moving into the family Tahoe home, and Carol's moving to Sacramento. So there's lots of graduations and moving going on in our community. We're also very grateful to have Carol with us today to provide our invocation and special reading. She selected this very special reading for us. So welcome, Carol.
Thank you, Rev Pam. It helps to be unmuted. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see your faces and have you here. So let's go into our sacred space where we are always supported by Spirit. This one giving, creative power that's in our lives always, for everyone, anywhere, anytime. So we know this guiding Spirit is with us as we go through our day, and especially through this morning's service. We know that we are connected deeply to the Spirit within, and that we use it every day to experience new opportunities, new growth, new beauty in our lives. So I know that service is in perfect order, and we hear what it is we are meant to hear as Rev Pam gives her talk, and also as Emily Tessmer sings for us. So we are so blessed in this center by our community who supports us, and soon will be supporting us in a new visioning from good to great. So we are so blessed to have this community of like-minded people ready to come forth and be of service and express what it is they want in their lives. So I am grateful for that. And today, a beautiful, beautiful day, knowing everything is in perfect order. I give thanks, knowing these words are the truth for all of us. As I say together, we say together, and so it is. So I am reading from December 2019 Science and Mind magazine, which I just happened to have picked up a couple days ago and started reading an article which has the title, "Discipline is the Key to Freedom," which is basically what Rev Pam is going to be speaking of today. And it's about methods of practicing science of mind, but I'll just be reading excerpts from it. How many of us dislike the word discipline? Usually it implies either punishment or sacrifice, doesn't it? There are, however, other uses for the word discipline. It also means to train oneself to do something in a controlled and habitual way, and an activity or experience that provides mental or physical training. Think of athletes and meditators. Think of what we are each doing when we seek to reprogram our subconscious mind with affirmations, visualizations, and spiritual mind treatment. Aren't we engaging in activities that are designed to train ourselves to perceive, think, and act from spiritual viewpoint? Many of us love the science of mind teachings, but only practice haphazardly. We may engage in self-awareness or practicing the presence for a period of time while reading a book or taking a class. But have you noticed how easy it is to drift away from it? In the press of our busy lives, we revert back to old patterns of thinking and ways of behaving. Why do we do this even though we know better and absolutely want to live from the deep truths that we believe in? The answer is simply habit. In 1906, Thomas Trorg called it grooves of thought. In 1938, Holmes called it our thought atmosphere, based on the tendency of our thinking. Today's science describes it as synapses that wire together. These are habits of thinking, feeling, and acting that have become subconscious patterns of belief, which then act as the filter through which we perceive the world and determine how we react, speak, and behave. What can we say about habits? They are automatic, unconscious, and we are somehow comfortable in them, even when we claim we want to change them. Maybe it's just easier to live in the habit because it is automatic and unconscious. We don't have to do the diligent work of becoming aware of the habit, deciding to change it, and then actually choosing to see, think, feel, or do something differently. Habits themselves are neither good nor bad. We are designed to run on habits because our brains simply couldn't be consciously aware of and respond to every single one of the 6 billion bits of information that come at us every second. We need our habits to help us notice what's important, filter out what's not, and respond accordingly. The fact that we have habits isn't the problem. It's the fact that we ourselves haven't consciously programmed our habits to be what we choose them to be. The good news is that habits can be broken, or rather rewritten. If you want to have healthy eating habits, you don't stop eating. No, you create a new habit of our brain, of eating healthy food. Science calls this using the neuroplasticity of our brain. Holmes calls it the use of trained thought. And finally, we realize that we need specific regular disciplines to train our consciousness and reprogram our brains so we will automatically and unconsciously respond in alignment with our practice of principles of science of mind. So I would like to invite Emily back.
Cool. So I thought about what the topic was for the day today. And how many of you guys are familiar with Patty Griffin? Anybody know who Patty Griffin is? She is a singer-songwriter she lives in Austin, Texas. And her boyfriend used to be Led Zeppelin's lead singer. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but she's amazing. She's an amazingly gifted writer, and she wrote this song. It's called "Up to the Mountain," and I think when we speak of discipline, it feels like a mountain sometimes. Like, okay, here we go. So this song is called "Up to the Mountain." I went up to the mountain because you asked me to, up over the clouds to where the sky was blue. I could see all around me could see all around me, everywhere. And sometimes I feel like I've never been nothing but tired. And I'll be walking till the day that I expire. And sometimes I lay down, no more can I do. But then I go on again, because you ask me to. And some days I look down, afraid I will fall. And though the sun shines, I see nothing at all. Then I hear your sweet voice, coming in, telling me softly, you love me so. The peaceful valley, just over the mountain. The peaceful valley, few come to know. I may never get there ever in this lifetime, but sooner or later, it's there I will go. Sooner or later, it's there I will go. Yay!
Thank you so much, Emily. It's wonderful how music can set the tone for whatever's, what's coming up. This month we've been talking about how we climb that mountain sometimes, how we move from being good to great. And I want to review, this is a series we've been doing this whole month, so I want to review a little bit. Much of this information is based on the book Good to Great by Jim Collins. Collins was formerly a professor at the Stanford University Graduate School of Business. And some of the quotes from his book: a great organization is one that delivers superior performance and makes a distinctive impact over a period of time. Greatness is also not a function of circumstance. Greatness, it turns out, is largely a matter of conscious choice and discipline. Okay, there's that word again, discipline. Right? So the work that Jim Collins did for his book, it's based on him and his team of researchers. They looked at all 1,435 Fortune 500 companies that made the list between 1965 and 1995. And they narrowed it down to 11 companies that made the leap from good to great, compared to all the other companies that were there that stayed in the middle of the pack or actually declined. And so the researchers asked the question, they interviewed a lot of people at each of the companies and said, why did some companies make the leap and why others failed to do so? What were the differences? So now I covered the actual good to great process in more detail in the first two talks in November. So if you missed them, I encourage you to go back and listen to the recordings on Facebook or our website or our YouTube page. But in order to make that leap from good to great, an organization must first build a solid foundation. And there was 4 areas that we've talked about. So on November 1st, I talked about disciplined people. Then we talked about disciplined thoughts. Today we're talking about disciplined actions. And then next week we'll conclude with discipline building for sustained greatness. Now, when we are looking for disciplined people, we want to have people who have the discipline to listen to the voice of Spirit that's within each one of us. Each one of us has access if we'll just listen. And when we have that clear vision and the willingness to and courage to grow and to be who we really are, our authentic self, then these are people that are self-motivated to share all that we have to give and to support everyone all around us to achieve their own greatness, because we're all part of the same one life. Right? Now, with disciplined thoughts are also part of greatness. And it's important that we first confront the brutal facts we talked about last week. We want to retain the unwavering faith that you can and will prevail in the end, regardless of the difficulties you encounter, and at the same time have the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality, whatever they might be, right? We must learn from our existing reality at the same time that we maintain our faith of the spiritual truth of who we are is the highest and best possibility of who we can become. We want to change those habits, that programming that we have, so we have a different outcome. We want to see what our thinking is. We can look at what's going on in our world. We also talked last week about the hedgehog concept. And this means that whenever we listen to divine guidance, we can discover our hedgehog concept. It is the essence of who we are. It's where the 3 circles overlap. I think in the next circle, Michael. In the next slide, Michael. Can you skip to the next slide? There we go. Okay, so it's where the 3 circles overlap that contain what we are passionate about and best at and what drives our resource engine. So when we know what our hedgehog concept is, it gives us piercing clarity to produce the best long-term results. We know what it is to do, and we have the relentless discipline to say no thank you to opportunities that are distracting us from focusing on our true purpose. We can get spread so thin that we can't even do what it is that it's ours to do. And this is why the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee is going to conduct our visioning process next Sunday afternoon. We will be listening to Spirit, to the divine guidance as it reveals to us the disciplined thoughts that will guide us to greatness at our center. Now this brings us to today's topic, which is disciplined action is greatness. Right? And then there are 2 subtopics, the culture of discipline and the flywheel. I think click this one through. There you go. Culture of discipline and the flywheel. Now, when Collins was beginning to apply what he had learned about the companies in the Good to Great for applying it to social sector organizations, these are nonprofits, spiritual centers, churches, groups like ours, he spoke with David Weekley, who is the CEO of David Weekley Homes. And this home builder has built more than 100,000 homes in 20 cities across the country. He's been very successful. And Weekley commented, "In my work with nonprofits, I find that they're in desperate need of greater discipline. Disciplined planning, disciplined people, disciplined governance, disciplined allocation of resources." It wasn't about ideas and the charismatic people. It was about the discipline to apply, to go about their business that they were focused on. Now, in our reading for today that Carol read for us, it was by Reverend Dr. Petra Weldis, and it discussed how we can discipline ourselves to practice applying the science of mind principles consistently rather than haphazardly. And Dr. Petra says that our habits of thinking, feeling, and acting that have become our subconscious patterns of belief, which then act as the filter through which we perceive the world and determine how we react, speak, and behave. The good news, Dr. Peter says, is that our habits can be broken, or rather rewritten. Right? When we change our thinking, we change our life. So it's important that we as disciplined people choose disciplined thoughts, which lead to disciplined actions and resulting greatness. Now, Jim Collins speaks about this topic, saying, disciplined people who engage in disciplined thought and take disciplined action, operating with freedom within a framework of responsibilities, this is the cornerstone of a culture that creates greatness. I think click this one through, Michael. There you go. So this is the cornerstone of a culture that creates greatness. Collins goes on to say, I'll go back one, but that's okay. In a culture of discipline, people do not have jobs, they have responsibilities, and they serve from the heart. Good to great companies hire self-disciplined people who don't need to be closely managed and motivated. This allows the company to give their people freedom and responsibility within the framework of the company system. So they have this structure that they've set up, but because the people themselves are disciplined, they have the freedom to deal with whatever comes up at the time, right? Now, an example of a great company that is built on disciplined people with disciplined thoughts and disciplined action is Southwest Airlines. Now, Southwest Airlines has based their entire business model on their hedgehog concept. They've done a really great job of it. They are providing low-cost flights on the most popular routes for corporate commuters. They hire and retain motivated employees. They maintain efficiency and flexibility as they grew into one of the 4 largest U.S. airlines. And they're continuing to improve their business model and practices all the time. So here's some of the way that they've kept their prices low, and they've built their brand loyalty. They use smaller airports with lower gate fees. They make it easier for business flyers to book flights directly on their website, earn rewards, and make last-minute flight changes without all those penalty charges that the other airlines charge. They also maintain an employee culture of exemplary customer service and helpfulness. When they first started, they set up their stock ticker symbol as LUV, love, because they when in 1966 they had a love potion theme for their advertising, for their flight attendants outfits, and all of their in-flight snacks. Everywhere they could, it was about love. Now, Southwest Airlines has stuck to their hedgehog concept of flexible, low-cost flights with great determination. They did not get stalled by fixating on the systemic constraints that all of the airlines have had to deal with and have sent many into bankruptcy or reorganizations or mergers. Instead, Southwest found ways to be innovative. In 1972, they only had 4 planes that served 3 Texas airports. That was the extent of their airline. They were serving Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio. And so this 6-year-old airline they were having some cash flow issues, so they had to sell one of those 4 airplanes in order to make payroll and stay in business that year. Right. You know, how do you go from 4 to 3? That's a big improvement, or big change. But they were determined to maintain their existing flight schedules and not drop back. So they implemented a 10-minute turnaround schedule to make it all work. And they were able to keep all of their flight schedules by doing that. They still maintain that quick turnaround schedule, and they keep their planes flying more efficiently compared to the other airlines. Albert Schweitzer believed in discipline, and he found happiness in a life of disciplined action, to which he sought, and he found how to serve. That was his destiny that he chose, and his greatness as well. Now, the second subtopic for today is the flywheel. Now, in his research, Jim Collins found that in building greatness, there is no single defining action. I think you can click this one through too, Michael. There's no grand program, no one killer innovation, no solitary break, no miracle moment, right? So in the process of going from good to great, it resembles the relentlessly pushing a giant, heavy flywheel in one direction, turn upon turn, building momentum until a point of breakthrough and beyond. So I don't know if you're all familiar with the concept of a flywheel, but imagine a huge, heavy flywheel. It's a massive metal disc that you can see there, part of it. It's mounted horizontally on an axle. This one's probably about 30 feet in diameter, 2 feet thick, and weighs about 5,000 pounds. So it's a big, heavy monster, right? Now imagine that your task is to get that flywheel rotating on the axle as fast and as long as possible. So when you start, it's going to take great effort, right? So you push, and that flywheel just starts inching forward, moving almost imperceptibly at first. And then some other people come along and help you start pushing on that flywheel. Now, importantly, everyone learns to push in the same direction at the same time, right? And keep pushing with that great effort. And so the flywheel starts moving a little bit faster and a little bit easier, and it completes that first entire turn. And everyone keeps pushing, and then it makes a second rotation. 3, 4, 5, and the flywheel starts to build up speed. 10 turns, 11, 12, and it's moving faster with every turn. We're up to 12, 50, 100 turns going around. And then suddenly there's this breakthrough. The momentum of the flywheel takes over. And so then it only takes a small effort to keep that flywheel spinning with almost unstoppable momentum. You know, it's not quite the same now, but this is the old way that the cars used to be started, with that starter motor and so forth. So you get the flywheel going, and then it keeps everything moving. And a lot of big manufacturing systems will have this. And so the question was, is there one big push that caused the breakthrough from the slow pace to that unstoppable momentum? And the answer is, there wasn't any one particular push. Right? It wasn't an extra hard push. No, it was the accumulation of effort applied in a consistent direction by everyone. Push after push after push. And so the good to great companies, they look back at their path and their breakthrough transformation, and they probably didn't even know they were going through it when they hit the breakthrough point. And in fact, it never happens in one fell swoop. It happens with disciplined action, an accumulative process, step by step, action by action, decision by decision, turn by turn of that flywheel that adds up to sustained and spectacular results. So for a social sector organization like our center, the flywheel looks something like this. By relentlessly focusing on our hedgehog concept, we need to figure out what that is first. The organization's leaders make decisions about what actions to take and when to say no to actions that do not fit within the hedgehog concept. We build strength by bringing in disciplined people and building our center sustainably like a clock. It's built on spiritual principles of science of mind rather than on the personality of any single leader, right? And as our members and our center demonstrate positive results of applying the science of mind principles to their lives and fulfilling our center's purpose, vision, and mission. And so with these successes, we build a brand, a reputation, and goodwill, because we are doing what we can do best with a passion, right? And then our ongoing success attracts people who want to join our center and also learn about the science of mind principles. And as their lives are transformed, they want to contribute their time and money, and the flywheel goes faster and faster as more people push together, right? This provides the foundation for the organization to move from good to great. Jim Collins, in his book Built to Last, he says, discipline is the greatest thing in the world. Where there is no discipline, there is no character. Without character, there is no progress. So discipline is integrally important to moving forward. Now let's bring in some science of mind principles to this discussion of good to great. Now, the flywheel starts moving based on action of belief. I think this is a click. The action in pursuit of possibility, and action in service. They all three work together. Now, at the Centers for Spiritual Living, we believe that all life flows from our Creator. The qualities of God are expressed in all of creation, including each person and in our center itself. In his first letter to the Corinthians in the Bible, Paul wrote, "There are three things that will endure: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love." Ernest Holmes has said, "To hold one's thought steadfastly," next slide, "to the constructive, to that which endures, and to the truth, may not be easy in a rapidly changing world, but to the one who makes the attempt, much is guaranteed." Now, as I said earlier about disciplined people hold disciplined beliefs, which are our thoughts, which lead to disciplined action and behaviors, which leads to those positive, great results. Our actions in pursuit of possibility begin, I think, click this slide again, Michael, begin when we take time to be still and listen to the voice of Spirit calling us, guiding us to see what the highest and best possibilities are for each of us in our personal lives and as part of our beloved Center for Spiritual Living, Tahoe-Truckee. When we see that vision of higher possibilities, when we get through with our visioning, Spirit then will guide a pathway to manifest that vision. Right? But we need that vision first from Spirit. Mark Twain made the astute observation that the two most important days in your life are the day that you were born and the day you find out why. What is your purpose in living? Ernest Holmes urges us to pursue your greatest possibilities, sailing on that boundless sea of livingness, upon whose bosom we are all carried forward. We should go from success to greater success. And then we finally come to actions in service to God, to our fellow human beings, and to the natural world. I think this one clicks through too, Michael. There you go. So now we're coming to the actions in service. So go into the world and do well. Next slide, please. But more importantly, go into the world and do good. Life is not all about us as individuals and about our egos. We are part of that one life that includes all people. And so we want to do good in the world. Ernest Holmes calls on us to serve one another. We should serve not with anxiety, but with expectancy. Not by coercion, but with conviction. Not through compulsion, but through a state of conscious recognition and receptivity. This is when life flows with ease and with grace. This is when we work together to get that flywheel spinning. Right? Now, the wise Mahatma Gandhi knew that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. The motto that my dad always followed was, love the people. Whether he was with his family, he was at work, at church, or with friends, he always strove to love the people around him, whoever they were. So when we come to a crossroads where we must decide whether to act or not, we can stand still just for a moment, listen to Spirit's guidance, and then take action in service. John F. Kennedy admonished us that there are risks and costs to action. but they are far less than the long-range risks of comfortable inaction. Disciplined greatness, or disciplined action, equals greatness. What starts the flywheel moving? Well, disciplined people have disciplined thoughts, listening to the divine guidance, and then they take disciplined action to achieve greatness. And the flywheel that gains momentum to sustain the wheel of greatness gets started when we push together, beginning with the action of belief, then taking action in pursuit of the possibilities revealed by divine visioning and intuition, and finally, that action in service to God, to our fellow human beings, and to all of creation. The time to act is now. So we invite you to come join us next week, November 22nd. At our Sunday service, we'll be concluding our exploration of the journey from good to great as we conclude with building His greatness. Disciplined building is greatness. And then after a break for lunch, we'll reconvene online at noon for our group visioning process as we listen to what Spirit calls us to do as the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee. It will be an amazing day, and your voice, your insights to our future are important, each one of you. And so I hope that you will make sure that you join us next week. So let's turn this to prayer. So as we turn within, with each breath, we let go of all the thoughts and worries and fears that seem to keep us trapped somehow. Trapped in the past, trapped in lives that are small, trapped in lives that yearn to be something more. And as we continue to breathe gently in and out, our conscious awareness travels from our head to our heart, and a sense of the loving presence of the divine fills our being with a knowing that we are loved and cherished just as we are and just as we are not. In this feeling of safety and trust, our heart opens even wider to embrace and love all of life. The one divine life that is vibrating so beautifully and magnificently in ourselves and in each being surrounding us. Our vision is clear. With easy discipline, we see the spiritual truth of every situation and every relationship in our life. Spiritual principles guide us to practice connecting with God, our source of infinite love, infinite wisdom, infinite peace and joy. All of life is in harmony with the One. We hear Spirit calling us forward to disciplined action, guided by our belief in Spirit. Action to pursue the higher possibilities of the divine. Action in service to God, to our fellow human beings, and to all of life. In the words of Isaiah, "Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, 'Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?' And I said, 'Here I am, send me.' I say a sacred yes. Yes. I take disciplined action with an inspired and light heart, filled with love and joy. And as I do, everything in my life comes into alignment with the power and presence of the divine. All my relationships, all my endeavors, My body is refreshed and restored to perfect health and vibrates with energy. Love pours out of my being to everyone and everything around me. And the infinite love and light and energy of spirit continues to fill my being, my consciousness full to overflowing. And as I come together with dear friends as the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee, we welcome the presence of spirit in the midst of our congregation. We welcome the vision of our center's purpose and higher possibilities as we listen with open hearts and minds. We celebrate the beauty and the gracious gifts of wisdom, love, joy, prosperity, and peace that the divine expresses through our center. With gratitude for our own healing and spiritual transformation, we share these gifts with new and old friends whose lives are also transformed by spirit. Our hearts are soothed as we recognize divine guidance, love, and compassion manifesting in our lives and throughout our community, our country, and the world. The time for conflict and fear is over. The time has come for peaceful acceptance, cooperation, and building together a world that works for everyone. Gratitude fills my being. I want for nothing. The world wants for nothing. All people, all thoughts, all actions hold the weight of the divine, of infinite love and understanding. I rest in peace. I walk in peace. I rejoice in peace that fills my being and blesses the whole world. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. All is well. I release these words to the law of mind that immediately and wholeheartedly says, yes, my beloved, yes. The transformation is complete. And together, we anchor this prayer as we say together, and so it is. And so the time has come for one more song from Emily.
Awesome. Well, this is a perfect segue. This is called The Great Divide. And I wrote this, gosh, before the pandemic hit. And it, but I believe more so than ever right now, it's so important that we choose where our energy is going. Just like Rev Pam was saying, we can't entertain things that are of negative nature, and we need to reserve all of our good energy for healing on the planet and unity. So this is called The Great Divide. Together we stand, divided we fall. This is your land, this is my land, and her land and his land. Oh, the river is wide, wider than the ocean. We have to try, come together and cross the great divide. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, the plains and the mountains, to all of the tribes whose hearts have been broken. Oh, the river try, come together and cross the great divide. Oh, the river is wide, wider than the ocean, but we have to try, come together and cross the great divide.
Yes, the great divide. Perfect. So we come now to our prosperity time for our center. And if you would join with me in our prosperity affirmation as we hold our gifts that we're going to be sharing with the center over our hearts. And if you would read along with me. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. All I share with life returns to me, blessed and multiplied. And so we know that there are many different ways to give to our center, and we appreciate all of the gifts that you share with us. It's keeping us operating during this time that we can't be together, and we'll be ready when we get back to be in the center together, although I think we have some friends we'll always have online, because we're getting our geographic areas getting bigger and bigger. So thank you very much for donating. And we have our prosperity song with Karen Drucker. So you can sing along as well.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need.
And so as we receive these gifts, it is with gratitude, knowing that it all comes from the infinite source that is God, the one source of prosperity, of love, of joy, of hope, of peace, of transformation that is flooding the world right now, covering it with soothing love and strength and peace, that deep abiding peace that goes deep into our hearts, transforming all of life, reminding us all that we are part of the one that lives in harmony right here and right now. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is. So I want to thank all of you for being with us today. If any of you need to be on our email list, make sure you put your email in the, hi Shiloh, put your name in the chat if you want to add your email to our list, and you can get our newsletter. And we have quite a few exciting things going on. The holidays are coming up, and plus our regular events. So I would like to welcome our Associate Minister, Reverend Rick Carney, with our announcements.
Thank you, Reverend Pam. Like Reverend Pam said, we do have lots of announcements today, so I'm going to be going rather fast, and I hope you stay with me. I invite you to have your families and friends join us on Sunday online via Zoom. And if you should happen to miss a Sunday, please do catch up with us. Our recordings are available on our YouTube channel, and you can find the links to that on our website, on our Facebook, and on Instagram. A reminder that our fundraiser is ongoing now. You can still see the recording we made of our Saturday event, The Science of Earnest Mind, film and discussion, by going to CSL TT Presents at eventcreate.com. Next Sunday, Reverend Pam returns for the fourth and final presentation on going from good to great with disciplined building equals greatness. Colleen Akiko will be our musician, and I will be filling in as practitioner that day. As you know, Monday mornings and Tuesday mornings, our practitioners hold a wake-up meditation. It's a great way to start your day, and I encourage you to be part of that. The links are in the constant contact and on our website. As also ongoing are the Wednesday night gatherings. This week, we'll be discussing the spiritual practice of visioning and how we can open our hearts and minds to Spirit's guidance and inspirations. As a reminder, next Sunday, you have to be here from 12 to 3 for our community visioning event. And this is where we open ourselves to Spirit and hear about our future center and what's the direction our spiritual community should be moving in. So join us, please. Again, the details are in the constant contact as well as on our website. This is an event that is taking place next Saturday. I gave it the nickname of Drive-By Thanksgiving Pie, with pumpkin pie being shared by the members of the Board of Trustees as well as the practitioners. You'll be getting a phone call in the coming week if you haven't already with the details on this. We want to make sure that we have enough pumpkin pie to go around. So if by chance you're not present for that phone call, please do contact our center and let us know how many people you would like to receive pumpkin pie for. And then drive by the center next Saturday afternoon between the hours of 1 and 3 in order to pick that up. We have a gift for you as well. That's associated with the visioning process. So I encourage you to take part in that. If you would like to see the visioning handout in advance, simply contact us at the center and we'll be sure to get it to you by email if you're unable to drive by next Saturday afternoon. Something that will be starting this week is Tai Chi with Chris Worcester, and I would like to invite Chris to tell us a little bit about that. Can you unmute and tell us, Chris?
Hope everybody can hear me. The Tai Chi we've now been sharing a few times on the Zoom, and it started on our Elements gathering, our 4-day gathering, and it brought me back to the awareness that we can have a Tai Chi connection over this technology along with a heart connection that we get in so many other ways with this technology that we didn't think 10 months ago would be possible. And so I invite anyone that would like to move into a deeper, drop into a deeper meditation with the Tai Chi to join me. It's very beneficial for the body, mind, spirit connection. And yeah, so Thursday, 3:30, you got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. That's great. We'll be sending out details on this and the other events in a special midweek constant contact announcement. So be on the lookout in your email inbox for that. As you know, we have lots going on almost every day of the week. I mentioned already the practitioners' meditation on Monday and Tuesday morning, the Wednesday evening gathering. meditations being led by Mary McEnany and Penny Scholler, also on Thursdays. We have 2 events that Sue Pipo leads. In the coming week, it's going to be the book study of Letting Go by David Hawkins. And then Course of Love will return next week. And this Friday, Ned DeAntios is leading A Course in Miracles. It's at a special time this week, 2 p.m. In future weeks, it will return to its regular 10 a.m. schedule.
Rick, that's on Saturdays, not Friday.
Oh, forgive me. You're exactly right. Yeah, okay. I'll fix that for next time. Thank you so much for pointing that out. And with that, I turn the microphone back over to Reverend Pam. Oh, you're muted, Reverend Pam.
I do want to remind everyone that we are a healing spiritual center, and our wonderful practitioners are a part of that. So if you have need for prayer and someone that you would like to listen to or talk with you, apply those spiritual principles to something that just seems that you're stuck, whatever it is, please call one of our practitioners and they will be thrilled to work with you. So we have Reverend Rick is here, Nancy O'Neill, Carol Delbon was our practitioner of the day, Shirley Clark is here, and I think that's, and myself. So any one of us would be glad to work with you. Prayer works, so we know that. And I think with that, we're going to have our closing song and the face of God. And after our song, we'll have our hospitality time, so we can we share with each other. We can hear a little bit more about Emily's movie that she's been making, and some of the other things going on in people's lives. So thank you all for being here. I think we're ready to sing. Rick, I think you're muted.
Yep. Carol is too.
Okay.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
You're muted.
Our affirmation coming up. Would all repeat along with me. I let Spirit guide me from good to great. I begin in the stillness and listen to Spirit's guidance. I hear Spirit's call to action. I say, here am I. Send me. Discipline action leads to greatness. And so it is.
Thanks, everyone. That was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys. The music was just awesome this morning, Emily. Perfect choices.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's great to see all you guys. Yeah, we have yeah, Joaquin just went to work, so we have a deal. There might be a little Play-Doh toy coming after being good during that last song that I was singing.
Yeah. And I'd love to hear Shiloh sing sometime.
Oh yeah, Shiloh, you're gonna have to sing something for these guys sometime.
Yeah. Eensy Weensy Spider? No, you don't know that one? Eensy Weensy? Yeah. That was lovely music today. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you,
Oh,
Em.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
Yeah.
you guys.
You all. Thanks.
So good to see you, honey.
You too, guys.
Yeah. Good luck in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, listen, Pam, as soon as I'm done with that, maybe we could do something in January or something like that with the film when it's done. That'd be cool.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
with that.
Nothing like the unbridled joy of a little kid, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That's me.
Look at his
That's-
face.
Looking at yourself.
Ridiculous. Oh, this kid.
And we let life get so complicated.
Oh.
Oops.
I want to give a special thank you to Chris for sharing his gifts with us. Chris, thank you so much. I'm going to be there. I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm going to be there.
Can't wait.
Chris, is this going to be like chair Tai Chi?
It can be if you need it to be. It's actually profound, the energy that flows even while we're sitting. It's our intention that guides the way.
Well, I'm just wondering, since we're all on Zoom, you know.
Hey, Nancy, I noticed you have a ukulele behind you there. You tearing it up while no one's looking or what?
I know I'm getting pretty good. I'm learning finger picking now. I have a bunch of YouTube teachers.
That's it. That's the way.
I practice every day.
And didn't you get a lesson with Tabina?
Yes, I'll do, just a brief introduction of Tai Chi via the Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Hey, here we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here you go.
Gotta go. Got somebody
And if
here.
you want to see
Bye.
me speak, then we do something
Bye,
like
Mariah.
that.
Hi. The only musical instrument I have really in this house is the dog. He'll bark at tumbleweeds.
Would too.
Want to go out in that backyard.
I know, I wish I could let him out in the backyard to run around for a little bit, but we got to get going on our walk soon because unfortunately the fence is broken and he's a little Houdini. Yeah, I'm talking about you.
So Mariah, what house did the tree fall into in Carson City?
Yeah, the one down in Carson, my boyfriend's house.
Oh dear. Were you inside when it fell on the house?
Yep. The worst part about this, I think, for me, besides, Thor not having his backyard, is this isn't the first time I've had a tree fall on the house.
Oh, okay.
The first one was my mom's house when I was in 5th grade.
Oh, wow.
But I recognized like the feeling because I've been in earthquakes and my boyfriend was like, oh, it was just an earthquake. I'm like, are you sure a tree didn't fall on the house? Because I recognized it. Something in me was just like, that's not an earthquake. I've felt this feeling before.
I have to tell a story how I was startled out of bed in the middle of the night a few years back, but what I thought was a tree falling on my house. And I jumped up and ran outside and there was nothing there. And that's when I felt the ground just wave under my feet. Yes. And so I thought, oh, golly, there's an earthquake going on. And it's pretty sizable. I should just stay here. But then I realized I'm in my pajamas in the middle of the street at 3 a.m. and bears live here. So after a minute or so, I sheepishly went back inside. And, there were no aftershocks, thankfully.
That was in Truckee, Rick?
Yes, and it was no more than 5 miles up the road.
Wow.
From where I am, yeah. It was that strange
I
feeling,
can-
like almost on a boat where the waves take you up and down.
Oh,
Honestly, earthquakes feel so strange when you're like not in a house. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
I was in the north, in one of the quakes down in 1990, 92 when they had the big earthquakes down in Northridge and Ventura. And I mean, that one was so big that I literally could not walk across the floor. It was just knocking me over. And because I wanted to get to the next bedroom to get to my daughter, because she had been thrown out of bed. And that was amazing. So it reminds you how powerful God is, and we are, yeah, we're small.
Let's hope we don't have to experience that anytime soon.
Agreed.
We have enough. Anyway.
Along those lines, my cousin, who's a retired national park ranger, sent out a note over Facebook yesterday about the Old Faithful camera has stopped working, and of course my brain immediately went to earthquake or the volcano that's under Yellowstone, the super volcano, and life on Earth. So I thought, oh gosh, everybody run for the hills. Right?
Could it just be old? Has it been there a long time?
Apparently, it has a history of failure, as he reminded me. Okay, I best be going too.
Yeah.
So I'll
Goodbye,
hand
everybody.
over.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Good to see you all.
Hi,
Bye, Mark.
Linda and Brian. How are you?
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thanks for coming. Take care now. God bless.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.